Hey everyone, so you're about to see my video on the Pathfinder Bestiary 2 Pawn Collection. Now, typically when I record these videos, and today is no exception, I do this really late at night. It's typically getting on, I think, 2 a.m. at the time that I'm recording this. So I wanted just to do this little part at the beginning because I forgot to mention it until near the end of the review. So for transparency purposes, just to make everything abundantly 100% out in the open and clear. This Bestiary Pawn Collection was sent to me by Paizo for the purposes of doing this review. However, Paizo doesn't influence the video. They don't give me certain points that I have to make. They don't ask for favorable reviews. They just expect, my personal honest feedback. So the opinions that I express in these videos, as always, as they've always been, are 100% completely and totally my own. But I just want to make it clear that this was sent to me for this video. And like I said, I mentioned it at the end, but I think it's important to have that at the very beginning of the video as well. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy my look at the Bestiary 2 Pawn Collection. Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Pathfinder Bestiary 2 Pawn Collection. This is one of the latest releases for Paizo and the second edition Pathfinder role-playing game. So this is the Pawns collection from the Bestiary 2, specifically the second edition Pathfinder Bestiary 2. So just flip it over here, and on the back it gives you a complete list of all the different creatures that you can get in here. So there are 311 creatures total, with several creatures having multiple copies. So they'll have, if there's more than one of them, they'll have the number of pawns in brackets. So there's, sometimes 2 to 4 of some of the creatures in here. So you're going to get quite a few pawns for this collection. And the US retail price is $39.99. So for $40, you're getting, hundreds of these cardboard stand-up minis or pawns that you can use if you're using minis in your role-playing game, which is what I like to do. Now, this doesn't come with the bases included, so this is just, cellophane wrap around a sleeve and the cardboard sheets themselves for the pawns. However, it does say that there are bases that you can get in the Pathfinder Pawns base assortment or the Pathfinder Bestiary Pawn box. So if you have the first pawn box, there's going to be a whole bunch of bases in there. I don't have that at this point in time. It is something that I am hoping to get at some point, but for right now, I don't have the original Pathfinder second edition Bestiary pawn box, but I do have some other products that have the bases in them, so I'm fine. But that is something to keep in mind, that you may want to purchase the pawn base assortment or pick up the Bestiary 1 pawn set first. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into this, because this is a big old product. There's a lot of stuff to have a look at here, so we'll just get the plastic off and have a look. All right, so the plastic is off. I'm just going to go through and show the individual sheets. If you want to have a closer look, then feel free to pause the video. I'll try to leave at least a few seconds between each sheet there, but I just want to show what is included. Now, another thing to note is that the pawn sizes in here are going to be limited to small, medium, large, and huge. So anything like gargantuan or colossal is not going to be represented in here, because it would just take up an entire sheet. And I don't think there's a ton of gargantuan or colossal monsters in there. This is just the covering sleeve, and it does have the artist credits as well as the open gaming license information included inside there. So let's just go ahead and have a look at everything here. So just see if I can get just a little bit closer there. And so this is the first sheet. So they are double-sided, so they'll have the same image on the front and back side of each of these. That way, no matter which side of the pawn you're sitting on, you'll still see the same artwork. which is great. It's easier to help people see or know what creatures are there when using these two-dimensional cardboard stand-ups. So this is, again, something that I do appreciate about them, that they do have the actual art on both sides. So there's the first one. I say I love the brownie art here. That one, just like the missing tooth and the fiendish looking or devilish grin. Mist Stalker. And there were some really cool creatures in the Bestiary too. The basically the Bone Devil, I think this is. Again, awesome looking stuff there. So the great thing about these pawns is that it is a very cost-effective way to get a sizable collection of creatures to have for your role-playing games. And this is something that you can use with other RPGs. Like, this isn't necessarily specific to just the Pathfinder role-playing game. And it does actually mention that on the back of the packaging there, that you can use it with other fantasy RPGs. Which again, it's great. For $40, you're getting a lot of value here. And so here's an example, the Planar Scion. We have 4 copies of them. We have 4 copies of each of them, actually, as you can see. So we got, again, some decent variety there. Or not variety, but you have a decent assortment if you're looking to pad your encounters out. Each one, if there's multiples, will have different colors for the little icons here. So let's actually just take a closer look here. So each of these pawns will have this little icon on the bottom. Again, if there's multiples, there'll be different colors. So we have red, green, blue, and purple. But it also includes the page in the Bestiary where you can find these. So B2, page 126, 125, the Praeton, page 123. So it gives you all of that information. So again, you can quickly know which page to look at if you are flipping back and forth for stats or anything along those lines. So again, it's a nice touch, and because they do have the different colors for the multiples, when you're tracking initiative, you can actually just put like R, G, B, or P next to their hit points or whatever, so that way you know which one it is on the table. So again, a nice little touch there. So I actually have a few pawn sets that Paizo has put out, going all the way back to the first edition when I actually have their NPC Codex box. And that's where I got a lot of Pathfinder bases there to use. And again, just, these are fantastic products. And to try to get minis for all of these in these quantities is going to be a very, very expensive feat to try to pull off. So that's why I really like these. If you are sort of getting into tabletop RPGs for the first time, then I cannot recommend these pawn collections enough, because they're just they're such a great, easy way to build up, like I said, that collection. Like the Pathfinder Bestiary 1 box is even, another great thing to look into, because again, there's a lot of creatures in there that are very standard in all fantasy RPGs. So that, again, if you pick that one up, then you'll have a lot of stuff to use, even if you're not currently collecting or getting into Pathfinder 2nd edition. Though I do recommend trying out Pathfinder 2nd edition, because I really love the rule set. But anyway, just food for thought there. So this set in particular, now we're getting into the large size creatures. So again, they have the same basic setup. You have the page number, as well as the different color coding if there are multiples. So again, it's cool to have a couple of marsh giants or shadow giants, or the flesh warp, however you pronounce that. So again, just awesome stuff there. I think I'm just going to turn this sideways. It might make things just a little bit easier on me. All right, again, some great creatures here. The Hippocampus, the Wood Giant, Glass Golem, the Gorgon, Grendel. So Grendel from the Beowulf story. So it's, again, cool to have that there. I believe the Wendigo should be in here as well, since I don't think that was a creature larger than huge size. That one actually popped out a little bit. That's okay. They do kind of slot back in relatively easy. So if you don't have something to carry these in, then, you can pop them back into the sheets. But, you may want to invest in, I've seen people use like fishing tackle or fly tying kits to store like these types of things into. So there are ways to organize these, or if you just have the box set, you can try to keep everything relatively in their sheets, or even just Ziploc bags and have like type creatures all together. So you could have like one that's just all trolls, one that could be like all goblins or orcs or whatever you may have here. So then we get into the Velstrek. So these things are kind of, I want to say that these things are kind of like, I might be wrong actually, but there are creatures in Pathfinder that are very similar to like the Cenobites from the Hellraiser series. So it's just kind of cool to see stuff like that in the games. The Athak, I really, really love this Athak art, as well as the bear, the Melfeshni. It's just like, I just really enjoy the artwork that these creatures have. It's just really, really cool looking. I mean, that looks really intimidating. But the Athak was kind of a weird looking, dopey looking creature back in the day. It had like the third arm coming out of the chest, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't look that intimidating. This guy actually looks kind of scary. The Bebelith was also sort of the thing of nightmares, and like I said, the Nelfeshni, again, looks really kind of like, it actually reminds me a bit of Ganon from the original like Legend of Zelda series. So it's, again, just kind of cool art there. Then we got some dragons, some dinosaurs, the Orca, classified as a dolphin, which is, I believe, the actual correct classification for it instead of whale. Yeah, so again, I also really like the dragons here. The Cloud Dragon's great. The Brine Dragon, I really love the design for as well. And then we have our Griplides, they're little frog people. Intellect Devourer, classic, brain monster thing. So some great stuff there. Magma Dragon looks amazing. I love that as well. Kind of sleek, but very intimidating looking. Umbral Dragon is great. Then you have like the Loch Ness Monster, Air Elementals. And of course, you gotta have the Froghemoth, one of the greatest silly creatures of all time. Frostworm, actually, that looks really cool as well. So again, there's some really nice artwork here. This should be the same artwork from the Bestiary 2. There's the Jabberwock, which I believe was from like the Alice Through the Looking Glass, or like the Alice in Wonderland stories, like the actual written stories, and not the movie. At least I think that's right. I don't know. It's late at night, so I could have that fact wrong. The Scythe Tree is really cool. The Quilp, or well, words are hard. The Quiploth, Giant Squid. I actually like this guy quite a bit as well. The Psychopump, Giant Slug. And on the last sheet here, we have the Trendiculus, or Trendiculus, or Draculos. Again, some awesome stuff here. So, overall, this is a very, very excellent assortment of creatures. So, for $40, you are getting a ton of pawns. I mean, there's well over 300. There's 300 individual creatures, let alone all the ones that have multiples. So you're probably looking at closer to like 350 to maybe even 375 overall, pawns that you're getting. And for $40, that is an amazing deal. This especially, is something worth picking up if you already have the Bestiary 1 pawn box, where you'll have those bases there. If you don't, again, just look for the pawn base assortment, which you should be able to get from your local game stores, or it should be something that should be out. If it's not out now, it should be out relatively soon. As well as, like I said, the Pathfinder beginner box should have some in there as well that will accommodate at least the small, medium, and large creatures. Maybe even one or two huge ones, I don't know at this point in time. but this is an excellent pickup. So I do want to thank Paizo for sending this to me for the purposes of doing this review. But I've been a fan of pawn sets for quite a while now, so this is something that I was really looking forward to getting. And again, it's really hard to go wrong with hundreds of the stand-ups that you can use to depict the monsters that you're fighting in combat. So if you're into the Pathfinder 2nd Edition role-playing game, or even just fantasy RPGs in general, and you like some of the creatures that are here, then I highly recommend picking this up. And especially if you're playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, or running it, I should say, this is a very solid purchase. And for $40, it is an excellent value. Just make sure that you can get your hands on some of the bases if you don't currently already have some from previous products from earlier editions, or something like the Starfinder lines of Pawns collections as well. So anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the pawn sets, and if you have any, or if you use them in your games. Tell me some of your experiences with that. Thanks again to Paizo for sending this to me for the purposes of this review, and I'm looking forward to everyone's feedback. So until next time, take care.